Don Miguel, hermanos, nomás estoy haciendo este video porque quiero demostrar en Hanukkah los héroes que están resaltando hoy en día, porque sabemos que el pueblo judío ha confrontado el antisemitismo por generaciones y esta generación no es la excepción. Así que la historia de Hanukkah no es una historia de siglos pasados, sino que es una historia que sigue transcurriendo hasta el día de hoy, y hay personas y judíos que han tomado ese mismo lugar de los Macabeos para defender su fe y para defender el pueblo judío. Entonces quería hacer homenaje a personas, particularmente a judíos, que están tomando ese reto de pelear por la existencia del pueblo judío. Entonces, que sea de inspiración para nosotros, que Dios siga obrando en su pueblo y que no se queda estático, que sigue hasta este momento obrando milagros por medio de gente que se presta. Dios la bendiga.
I'm not just a pretty Jewish girl sitting on the stage. I was born in Jerusalem, Israel during the Six-Day War. My father ran Yad Vashem's Righteous Gentile Division for over 24 years. And I'm sitting here because a Catholic priest hid my Saba and Safta and my family in Evian, France, and helped my father at the age of 7 with his 7 brothers and sisters into Switzerland. I grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and every Friday night for Kiddush, my father would repeat story after story after story about the Holocaust. And I'd say, Abba, lama? Lama kol hasipurim ha'ele? Why do we need to hear these stories? We're living in America. The Jews are loved here. Nothing is ever going to happen here in America. And my father would say, Siggy, anti-Semitism is like a cancer. It could stay dormant for many years. And sometimes when it comes back and shows its ugly face, you have to be prepared to look at it in the eye and defeat it.
Last year, I begged UN women for accountability, for action. In the past year, what have they done? Nothing. This is not only hypocritical, it is absolutely unforgivable. You see the sheer terror on their faces, their blood-stained faces, dragged out of the base, limping with blood all over their clothes, taken into Gaza, where they remain today. And the UN women has said nothing. They've done nothing. They've seen them speak up repeatedly for the women in Gaza, for the women in Lebanon, but never for our women. I'm not going to beat around the bush. We know what is at the root of all of this. A deep-seated anti-Semitism. UN women, you have allowed your hatred for Jews to corrupt your moral compass. So I ask you to stop pretending that you care about women, to stop pretending that you protect women, when there are still 13 Israeli women held hostage in Gaza right now. Bring them home! Bring them home!
So while we're at it, anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, how do you see these two things?
I'm a religious Jew, meaning I pray 3 times a day. The direction I face when praying is Jerusalem. Jews have been doing that for 3,000 years, regardless of where they find themselves in the world. In those prayers, I mentioned the return to Zion. I mentioned the return and the rebuilding of the Jewish temple, the ingathering of the exiles, dozens and dozens of times in those thrice daily prayers. Almost the entirety of the Jewish calendar is focused on events that happened in the land of Israel. Almost the entirety of the Jewish calendar focuses on the the land of Israel lunar calendar. Our lives as religious Jews are inherently tied to the land of Israel. And when you negate, when you deny the inherent connection between Jews and Judea, the Jewish people and the Jewish homeland, what you have done is you have taken a core part of my religious identity, you've taken a core part of my religious expression, and you've tossed it aside. Being Jewish inherently means an attachment to our land. In fact, the very first commandment in the Hebrew Bible that is given to the Jewish people revolves around the Jewish calendar, revolves around the Jewish holidays, revolves around the land of Israel itself. So anti-Zionism, which is the denial of Jewish sovereignty over their ancestral homeland, is unquestionably, irrefutably, objectively anti-Semitism.
Hey guys, so I wanted to bring Maya and Shoshana and Shai. You know, I'm simply here as a voice to amplify your voices, because what I am seeing absolutely breaks my heart. And I get emotional even talking about it, seeing what you are dealing with. And Shoshana just mentioned to me that it's finals week. You're in the middle of finals. These girls should be studying for their finals, and instead they are forced to confront vicious hate and calls for the annihilation of our people. I mean, the fact that you even have to use any brain space to think about the fact that there are people coming to your campus, it was supposed to be on your campus, with keffiyehs calling for intifada revolution, which, by the way, an intifada is a call for a violent uprising, and there's a new newspaper now coming out of Colombia called the Intifada, but apparently that's considered free speech. A call for the destruction of the Jewish people is considered free speech. It's not okay. So what you're forced to deal with right now, it shatters my heart. I cannot imagine being in your position. You girls are so brave. Shai, you're so brave. Shai has been banned from this campus. He is banned from this campus because he has spoken up, because he has refused to stay silent like his fellow administrators and faculty. He has stood up to the Jew hate, and now he's banned from campus. But he is not going to let that silence him. He is standing here with us. So all I am here to do today is lend my voice to your voices. I want to be an echo for your voices, because what I am seeing and what you are dealing with is not okay. I want you to know that no matter what happens, I will always have your backs. You can call me anytime, the middle of the night. If there is something I can do, you just want to scream, I will be there for you. And I want you to share this message with all of your friends who are in this boat. But thank you for stepping up, because I know it's not easy. This rally will end in an hour, and you'll have to be on campus for the rest of the year and the next year and the next year. We want you to know that we appreciate your bravery and speaking up, and we will be here for you every single step of the way. In Jew Hatred has your back. Me, Lizzie Savetsky, I have your back. All of us here today. We love you, and we're never going to abandon you. Ever.
I always say when we're speaking at Columbia that I'm going to be quick, because I never want people to make the mistake of thinking I'm a Columbia student. So I'll say this. Number one, it is a pretty damning indictment on the state of higher education that not every university has a Shai Davidai, because it's not just students. We need professors, and in particular, we need Jewish professors. And every time when I speak on a college campus, when I speak to Congress, they always ask me, who are the Shai Davidais on your campus? Who are the professors who are speaking out? And unfortunately, I can't always answer them. So if you're watching this, if you're a Jewish professor, please speak out, because we students need your voices. We need you to take a page from what Shai has been doing for a year and a half. And on that note, we at End Jew Hatred, the friends that I see gather here, we've been rallying in the heat of the summer. We've been rallying in the cold of winter. We've been rallying when it's rainy. And what a shame that we still have to rally, that we still have to march. We still have to sign petitions and go to Congress and speak on national media and sue our universities, because our institutions of higher learning have been unable and clearly unwilling to do anything to protect their Jewish students. If you are a racist and you call for armed resistance against African American students, you're expelled. If you're a homophobic student and you called for armed resistance against the LGBTQ plus students on your campus, you're expelled. But if you're an anti-Semite and you called for armed resistance against Jewish students, you get promoted, you get tenure, you get celebrated, you get awarded. I mean, talk about a double standard. It is an embarrassment. It is embarrassment that we have to keep coming back to the gates of Columbia and demanding not special treatment under the law, but equal treatment under the law. And regardless of your politics, regardless of who you voted for, regardless of your ideology, institutions of higher learning that refuse to fulfill their obligations under federal law, in particular Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, are not and should not be given the luxury of hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer funding. They should not have their endowments, like Harvard's $50 billion endowment, being tax exempt. And yes, we will demand accountability, we will demand action, because it is insane that we keep having to rally. And Jewish students on college campuses, Columbia, Harvard, Yale, Penn, UCLA, wherever, they are standing on the shoulders of giants, and they are not tomorrow's leaders, they are today's leaders. Yes. They are people who, in response to having swastikas drawn outside their dorms, in response to being told go back to Poland, in response to being told Zionists off our campus, they have decided they are going to put on a bigger kippah. They are going to wear their Star of David necklace, and they are going to be even more confident and more public in their Jewish identity. And those are the people, those are the stories, those are the students that we should be amplifying, because they are today's leaders. And what a privilege, what a responsibility that those students are leading this fight. We are all with you, and keep up the fight.
Okay, we're going to do the Shema in just one moment. I just want to thank Shai for organizing this and for all of you for coming. This is an amazing sanctification of Hashem's name right here on Broadway and 116th. Please take Shai's instruction to heart, whatever level of observance or non-observance you have. This is an opportunity to be more proud of your Judaism and to take it more seriously. The greatest revenge we can take on our enemies is not simply to defend ourselves against them, it's to become more Jewish, more Israeli, and more Zionist. Thank you all for being here. Shai just shared that in Israel they are saying the Shema. We're going to do it together. That in Israel they are saying the Shema in honor of the IDF. I'm going to ask everyone to please, we're going to sing this loudly and proudly. It's the declaration of our faith that was said not only when Jews were marched into the gas chambers, but the Shema is said to declare what we positively believe in. A one God, a one people, a light of Israel for the nations of the world. Let's sing. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Am Yisrael Chai, I am Yisrael Chai, I am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, I am Yisrael Chai, I am Yisrael Chai, I am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, I am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai.